The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Hey, welcome everyone to this week's rendition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on of the towns and villages that we cover. This week, this new year, we will be starting with Mike Falk in the town of Lima. Mike, what's going on in Lima?
Well, all sorts of things have been going on since we last met, Chris. We did have that giant storm that came through and knocked down a huge tree at the intersection of Route 15A, which is Plank Road at that point, and Dublin Street and Cobra Drive, taking out power for about 300 people, the largest storm outage in Livingston County, thankfully. We did not have a lot of repair going on the 23rd. It came down about 10 a.m. So Christmas Eve, the crews were out there in earnest, but people's homes had chilled sufficiently that we had to open a warming shelter at the ambulance facility. Thanks to Mayor Skip Tunis and the Lima Rotary for really putting that all together, staffing it, etc. We had people bringing in soup for folks, and Livingston County Emergency Management had a full staff on site going door to door, making sure people had the option to get to the shelter, warm up, etc. And we had quite a few takers. By that time, everything had chilled down quite a bit. So crews finished up about 3:30 on Christmas Eve, and everybody went home and refired their boilers if they were able to. I know that some folks had quite a bit of damage, inside, and that's still being taken care of. We also have a lot to look forward to in our new year. Lima is going to be hosting the Be Well in Livingston program. This is a Livingston County program that started out in the town of Nunde and then moved to Mount Morris. It is a comprehensive package of community outreach and education surrounding healthy habits, from exercise to walking and eating and all those things. Both of those other municipalities have seen a measurable decrease in the incidence of cancer and heart disease as a result. So looking forward to having that come to Lima and seeing some good things here. You'll also be able to see some more widening of our roads, and even the giant mechanical Bills helmet will be making an appearance here at the annual Crossroads Festival the first weekend in August. Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a mechanical bull, but it's a Bills helmet. So should be cool. We at the town of Lima wish all of you a safe and prosperous new year. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. And over to Rick Milne, Mayor of Honeoye Falls and Monroe County Legislator. Rick, what do you got cooking on your plate?
Well, it's great to see everybody. And again, I'm sure we'll all be echoing a little bit about what Mike said. Have a very happy new year to all. Whether you had festive celebration or just a little relaxation, we hope you enjoyed it. And let's also remember that there are a lot of people that many struggle through the holiday season for various reasons. Helping those in need, which can be done in many ways, is ongoing, not just during the holiday, but throughout the year. So let's remember those who need a little extra help. With village celebrations coming to an end, many decorations will be taken down soon. And I want to thank once again all of our businesses and residents that helped make our community look so festive and welcoming this year. It was really, really nice. The village will be making a change to our snow plowing procedures. We have had and still have permission from the DEC to push or dump the village road snow plowing into the Honeoye Creek and have for years. However, we want to do what we can to maintain the integrity of the Honeoye Creek waterway, as well as the surrounding embankments. And thus this year, we're going to work to plow the snow a little bit differently. We'll be piling it up in some strategic areas around the village, and then we'll have to move it a second time to a specific site for melting. But we're really trying to keep it out of the waterway if we can. Now, that is not to say we won't have a large storm that we just can't get away from it. But we're going to try to keep the snowplow materials, the slush and the dirty snow out of the creek area if we can. This is going to take some additional efforts and planning, and we will expect this to impinge and affect some parking spots in areas around the village. However, we feel that this is a small price to pay to have a positive impact on the Honeoye Creek that is so important to our community and its heritage. The Monroe County Legislature did vote this past Thursday evening, the 29th of December, to pass the new countywide redistricting map and plan. The vote was 27-2 in favor. This redistricting plan was 2 years plus in the making, and the county executive has also agreed to the plan and to the signing of it into law as the negotiations took place. There is a public hearing and subsequent signing of this action scheduled for January 5th, which will conclude this bipartisan legislation. The legislative district that I represent, District 5, does have some minor changes, but I'm extremely happy to also have some of Bushnell Basin added to my district, including the Bushnell's Basin Fire District, and I'll be very proud to represent them, as well as the portions of Henrietta that I will still serve, all of Rush, all of Mendon, and a small portion of Pittsford as well. So I'm looking forward to this change. We feel the map is a good map that really makes the boundaries a little bit more readable. Straight lines, in a sense, were straighter than they were. And I think the districts will hopefully make a little bit more sense overall. So we look forward to that moving forward. And with that, Chris, I just want to wish everyone a very happy New Year. And as Mike Falk had said, we have a lot to be thankful for and a lot of positive things coming up in 2023. And I just want to thank my fellow mayors and supervisors, my neighbors here in the community, for all their support, all their efforts. We really live in a great area, great school district that works together, and also along with Henrietta and Rush, it's just great to work with all these folks. So thank you very much and have a great New Year.
Thanks, Rick. John, Town of Mendon, how are we doing there?
Great, Chris. As always, thanks for having me. Just to echo some of the other folks who have spoken today, we obviously came out of this winter storm fairly unscathed in our area. We obviously had some power outages. I want to thank everybody who was patient with both RG&E and National Grid. And I thought our restoration times were fairly quick. I know it's hard when you're waiting, seems like a long time. And we had some folks who had a power outage on Christmas Day. I know that's hard when you have family and friends over and all of a sudden the power goes out when you've had it for the last couple of days. But I would just mention to folks that if they have questions in situations like that, I do make every effort to put the latest information about power outages on the Town of Mendon's Facebook page. I posted multiple times during that storm, especially on Christmas Day. And I was in touch with both National Grid and RG&E at various times throughout that storm. So please follow that. And certainly, we have opened up a warming station at the community center that's located in Honeoye Falls. We did not this year, but we did put it out there in case somebody had interest in it. And of course, as long as that has power, we're able to open that as a warming station. Just keep that in mind for the future, which I hope doesn't come anytime too soon as far as another major outage. One correction I wanted to make, I try to read what I said in the Sentinel. So it's been 2 weeks. And I made a small error in when I said 2 weeks ago that the town plows county and town roads within the village of Honeoye Falls. There are no town roads within the village of Honeoye Falls. The town plows county and state roads. So I stand corrected. I also wanted to mention to everybody that the county and town tax bills will be arriving shortly. And our rates for the town portion of it are the same. You will probably see somewhere between a 1 cent and a 5 cent difference in your total town tax bill. I mean, the town portion of that bill, somewhere between a 1 and 5 cent change. And that is due to the fact that there was a small claims case that was brought by a resident regarding their assessment. It was settled after we finalized our budget. So that did affect the rate out in the thousandths point. And so you'll probably see, if you compare it to last year's town rate, assuming your assessment didn't change, you didn't put on an addition or put a shed or a swimming pool or something like that, you'll probably see somewhere between a 1 and 5 cent increase in your town tax. Also wanted to mention that our organizational meeting for the town, because we are, our fiscal year is with the calendar year, that is going to be Monday, January 2nd. All of our town meetings beginning in January 1st will take place back at Town Hall. We've been at the community center the last couple of years during COVID. We're going back to Town Hall. So we certainly encourage any residents who want to attend those meetings. After that, we'll have another meeting on January 23rd, which is also a Monday. And then we'll go back to our normal schedule, which is normally the second Monday of the month, unless there's a holiday throughout 2023. Once again, Happy New Year to all of our residents, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, John. Just want to confirm 1 to 5 cents. That's the rate per thousand. So
No, no, it's the amount of the total amount of your tax bill that's associated to the town. The rate is essentially the same. It changed out in the thousandth point.
All right, just so, because this is math and sometimes I fumble with it. It's only going to be a penny or a nickel on the total thing
For your town.
for your town. Yeah, that's
But I'm not talking about the county.
I know you're not talking about the county.
All
All right.
But
Wow.
it's all
All
in
right,
the
well,
same
it's a good thing
bill.
I asked, because I might have been confused, others too. All right, thanks, Scott.
I pulled up a few tax bills today just randomly, and that's what it appeared to be, somewhere between 1 cent and 5 cent amongst most of our residents on the overall town portion, not the rate, but the overall town portion of their bill.
All right. So now we want to thank you, John, again. We want to introduce Steve Schultz. He's the supervisor of look, and now we have him on the video. He's the supervisor of the town of Mendon, which we are now covering. And Steve, I apologize. When I invited you initially on this, I said there would be no math. So we'll skip that and tell us what's going on in the town of Henrietta.
Sounds good. I don't actually find math to be an issue, so that's growing up, I was a mathlete. As far as the storm goes, weather-wise, it was pretty much just the winds. In fact, there was enough of a break in Henrietta between the rain and the cold that the winds dried the streets out. We had a little trouble salting because the salt kept blowing off, but we did get some of the, I think we were using magnesium chloride because we knew it was going to be single digit temperature. So there's 2 types of salts we use depending on the temperature, because standard salt doesn't work well in low temperatures. We did have a lot of power outage due to trees down. At the peak, it was on the first day, it was over 1,700 homes without power. But by the end of that first night, they got it down to under 500. They couldn't work on any of the ones that required a repair where they were in an elevated bucket truck. because you can't use those if the winds are over 35 miles an hour. So, but they pretty much had everybody restored within a day or two. We only had one call for a potential call for a warming center. We had basically two of our facilities are on generator for just that purpose, although they didn't lose power. But I called them back, as you know, it takes time for a house to lose its temperature. The folks who needed it, their power was restored within a couple hours, so that need went away. So we never actually opened the warming center, although we were ready to do so. In terms of some of the stuff we've got going on, a lot of new construction. A lot of people may have noticed the Macy's building is coming down. At the mall, there's a new floor and decor store going in there, and they apparently did not want to use the existing structure, so they're paying to remove the old Macy's and put up their new structure. If you've been by the mall recently, you'll have seen the significant progress on the U of R Medical Center. They've been operating out of there for some time, not as in doing operations, but running stuff out of there. Although the surgical center should be opening up soon, and then the tower opens up later in 2023. So that's an exciting, it's already having an impact on the mall. We've had a rebirth in the food court. We've had multiple coffee vendors come in. In fact, we've got the Starbucks wants to put a location right near there. So they're coming in soon too. But you know, that's helped a lot in terms of revitalizing Marketplace Mall. They've also broken grounds on a new affordable senior living apartment complex that's also going to be at the mall. So a lot of good redevelopment going on there. And within our own crews, and we've been finishing, we had run out of room in our garage at the DPW, so we built a sewer and drainage garage specifically to house those two departments. They have two flush trucks, and in the past we've only been able to keep one inside. So we, you know, they're much longer than our normal vehicles, which is why we decided to build the sewer and drainage garage to house those specifically. That's very useful, you know, when you get a thaw like this, to be able to go out and flush. You know, you often get accumulated leaves and other stuff in the storm sewer. So that allows us to have two flush crews going. Because in the past, we would have to essentially mothball the one for the winter, fully drain it, not operate it. So that's going to be a big advantage. And then the other big thing we're doing here at the town hall complex is we're getting ready to demolish our old library and replace it with a new town court. So I say new town court, we haven't had a actual town court facility ever. The town court used to operate out of town hall, but as both businesses, not businesses, as both entities grew, there wasn't enough room to hold the court here. And so we've been renting a facility for some time with the intention of building a new court. So that should be, well, the first bid packages have gone out and we should be getting those back soon. So a lot of that's being funded by the ARPA funds. So there should be no bonding necessary, which means there will be no increase in the property taxes. In fact, we didn't just hold our rate flat, we actually held our levy flat, which means our tax rate for the town will be $1.06 per thousand, which is the lowest it's ever been in the history of the town. Now, unfortunately, people are going to still be upset. They're going to say my taxes went up. That's because, unfortunately, the fire district tax levy went up by 15.5%. So their tax bill is going to go up, even though our portion will go down. That's one of the unfortunate things. All town supervisors know that pain. When other entities raise taxes, the towns always seem to get the blame, even though it's not our fault. Just looking down the list of stuff, you know, at the state level, So we have implemented the new exemptions for the first responders. I've been pushing, I would love to see similar exemption for people who own historic properties. One of the things communities that want to see these historic properties preserved, but there's a cost to that. And for whatever reason, there isn't just a simple tax deduction in the real property tax law like you have for some of these other things. So we're putting together a plan, researching that, and I'll probably bring it to the Supervisors Association to see if other people want to sign on to that. I was disappointed to just learn that the bill to get rid of the exemption for the condominiums was vetoed, because I don't understand why somebody who's running stuff for profit pays a lower tax rate than a regular homeowner. That makes no sense. Yet we have some people trying to exploit that loophole in our town. We've been taking them to court. The whole thing would go away if they get rid of the loophole. So frustrating matter. I'll be blunt. One of my issues with Albany has always been they seem to legislate for New York City and paint the rest of the state with the same brush. And what works in New York City doesn't necessarily work out here, and vice versa. So love to see some of that change, but I don't know that I will be in office that long, because I think that might take an eternity. In terms of, we've got an MLK celebration coming up. This is done in conjunction with our Interfaith Council and our Interracial Clergy Council, as well as with the town of Rush. And that's going to be on Thursday at 7 o'clock at Guardian Angels on East Henrietta Road. It's been going on for years. It's a really nice time. We pick a theme, have a number of speakers, and then we have singers from the high school, student singers and performers and stuff like that. So it's a really nice time. And we had our second annual, just recently, we had our second annual Holiday Light and Magic, extremely well attended. One of the comments that I loved from a couple people was that as big as Henry has gotten, it still has that small town feel to it. And that particular event exemplified that. So it's been a lot of fun, and, looking to continue serving, although the least fun part of the job is coming up, and that's the campaign. Everyone says, how do you like being town supervisor? I said, I enjoy serving the public. I hate the politics. So, but, again, wish everybody a happy new year, and looking forward to having the Sentinel in town to, share some small town news. That's one of the things that unfortunately has gotten lost in the change in the media that happened because of the internet. You just don't see as much small town news coverage anymore. So I'd love to see some of that come back.
All right. Thank you very much, Steve. Anybody remember something they might have forgotten to say? Seeing none. Thank you guys for being part of today's show. And thank you all for listening. Want to remind you that this airs every Sunday at 1 o'clock on our Facebook page. If you like that page, you will be notified when it starts to air. If you prefer YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also at 1 o'clock on Sunday, you'll be notified when it airs there. Otherwise, you can read about it in the paper, in the transcript. We'll see you all next week. Bye-bye for now.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.